I landed straight with the far right guys. We were like frontline soldiers for our race. He was like, man, we got a Molotov cocktail at this dude's house. I'm like, I got a gas can. I love the violence. I put like $190,000 worth of reconstructive surgery on this dude's face just with my fist. If you're hearing like somebody's getting hit and then you don't know who it is yourself, you might want to be concerned.
Today's guest is Gary Dodson, aka Bumper, a skinhead gang member who served some of the craziest time in level 4 federal prisons all over the country. Bumper grew up in small-town California and joined the white supremacist gang movement while he was still a teenager. If you can picture Edward Norton from the movie American History X, that was basically his life. He was at war at all times against other races. After going in and out of state prison, Bumper caught a federal charge for arson and a hate crime and was sentenced to 15 years, where he served all of it day for day in some of the most violent institutions in the country, including USP McCreary and USP Victorville. Bumper takes us inside the world of skinhead gang politics, some of the strictest and most ruthless in the federal system, where smash-outs and brutal stabbings are all too common, and Bumper was involved in all of it. But by some miracle, he eventually managed to shed his racist ideology, ceased to gangbang, and today is living and thriving as a free man. Check him out on TikTok and his YouTube channel, The Yard Down Podcast. And of course, for a bonus episode with Bumper, head over to that Patreon, patreon.com/TheConnectShow. All right, you guys, this one is a movie. It might leave you sweating. Back from the belly of the beast, it's Bumper, right here on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell. What's up, everyone? Just a couple of quick things before we get started today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on alerts so you get notified whenever we drop new content. Also, if you don't have time to watch the episode right now, it's all good. I totally get it. Just put it in your watch later playlist. YouTube has not been spitting out our content lately to my subscribers, so I really need you guys to engage with the video. If you like it, hit that like button, share it if you want to. It means the world to me. All right, you guys, let's get into it. Well, you're from redneck California, which most people don't even think exists, but it does in a big way. Porterville,
yeah. But I mean, there's a huge, still it's California. So there's a huge Hispanic population.
Right.
There was, in the town I grew up in, there really wasn't, I think there might've been like one black family.
Right.
But mainly whites and Hispanics.
Mm-hmm. So you grew up in this kind of working class, gang banging, racist culture. Where do you think that like white racism in California specifically comes from?
I think, the whites feeling that the immigrant population were stealing their jobs and bringing down the pay rate and bringing over like crime and stuff from over the border and things like that, like the living standard, right. the property value, bringing property values down in like areas and stuff like that. So that was like some of the where some of the racism springs from.
Still, your family originally from the South, from Arkansas. They're living in this dusty little Central Valley, California town. Your grandfather was the sheriff?
He was a chief of police in Leachville, Arkansas, where I grew up.
Okay. And then what did your parents do?
My parents drank and did drugs.
That was childhood for you.
Yeah. So my dad, by trade, he's a brick mason, but he would like, very rarely would I see this man work, He didn't never really drive a vehicle. Like he didn't have a car. Like he just like was a really bad alcoholic and good guy when he wasn't drinking. Like I have some good memories of him, but for the most part, dude, just, they're all bad. And alcohol just turned him into a different person, alcohol and drugs. So
was he a tweaker? Was it dope, biker dope, or what were
when we got out to
doing?
California, it was speed, the tweaker, biker dope. But at that age, I was so young that I didn't really know what they were doing. I just knew they were doing something, and I know it was meth because the night before we got arrested and my dad split back to Arkansas, my mom had us in the bedroom of the hotel, and she was peeking out the window, and she was telling me, Gary Don, look up there. Do you see somebody on the roof? And I was like, no, Mom, I don't see nobody. And then she's like, okay. And she's going, look, it's your birthday tomorrow. Here's $20. I want you to take your brother down to the pizza factory. And that was like, we'd go down there and play they had arcade games, and we'd go down there and get us a couple little personal pizzas and just go down there for a little bit. And then we'd go run off trying to find some cigarettes to steal and that
was the last time you saw your father?
That wasn't the last time, but for a long time, yeah, before, like, that was when, like, him and my mom separated. My mom got clean. My mom ended up going to rehab and getting herself together, and then she stayed clean for a very long time, like over 15 years, almost 20 years. And when she finally, like, got clean and then got her own place and then had me and my brother back, it was time for rules. And at that point, I was like, oh, all of a sudden we got rules now. So I wasn't trying to hear none of that. I was already too far gone.
Right. You were getting in trouble from a young age.
Yeah, I was getting in trouble before we even left to go out to California, but California, like, for some reason exacerbated it and made it worse. So
yeah, you got caught stealing guns. Yeah,
I mean, when I was a kid, I was like breaking into stuff. I was just a badass kid, man. I just was I don't know if I was just born like that or what, but I was doing bad stuff from a young age. I, like, stole my grandfather's, after he'd retired, his service revolver and had shot it off in the house. And I'm talking about, like, I'm like maybe 6 or something. Then I stole it another time and took it out to the woods and buried it and had it out there. But I was just doing bad stuff from early on. But,
and you guys in California, you were living out of, daily motels and trailers.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
And then, it was pretty volatile, just drinking, fighting, just always just not knowing what's going to happen in the house next too. So it was cool for us when they're like, hey, take off and be gone, because I didn't want to be in there, like, not knowing what's going on anyways.
Your dad was beating on your mom?
Yeah, they would fight a lot. I mean, like, knock down, drag out, dude. Like, bad ones.
Yeah.
I mean, he knocked her tooth out, man,
Yeah, it's crazy. So when did you first get in trouble? Like, when did you first go to Juvenile, YA?
That was for them guns. It was like my 11th birthday, man. We woke up in the morning. They were like, hey, we're going to go. I forget what even Mom said we were going to go do, but we all jumped in the car. Me and my brother in the back seat. My mom's driving. My dad's in the passenger seat. We pull up into the liquor store, and the cops just swarmed down on us. They were, like, waiting for us. And my dad looks back and said, what in the hell did you boys do? And my little brother just started bawling. And I just was like, nothing, And then we went, my brother actually, they took us all down to the substation. I can't remember whether my dad got released. My mom says my dad got released, but she went out to jail. But in my recollection was that everybody went to jail. My brother went to my aunt and uncle's because he was so young, and I went to juvenile hall.
Okay. And then as you grew up and became like a teenager, is that when, like, the kind of like gangbanging started?
Yeah, so growing up, I actually had a lot of Mexican friends, so I wasn't never really part of, like, a Mexican gang per se, but I hung out with a bunch of Mexican kids at first, I didn't really – I had some white friends too, though, some little rocker friends and stuff, but I really kind of, like, once I started going to juvenile hall and there wasn't as many white kids, I started gravitating more towards the Mexican dudes.
Right.
And started hanging out with them dudes at, like, the group homes and stuff. And then, like I said, I got a late start on the white supremacist thing, the skinhead thing.
When did that come into play?
It came into play. I was working at a tattoo shop in Porterville called Inkstain, and I met these skinhead dudes came in there, and they were from out of Bakersfield, and they were, like, handing out these Operation Schoolyard CDs, and it had, like, white nationalist skinhead bands on there, and got the CDs, and then I met some other skinheads from around there that were from Porterville, and I just kind of gravitated towards that. I felt like them dudes knew something I didn't, like they had an edge.
Right.
And I was like already kind of into like punk rock music and stuff. Right. So I was like, dude, these dudes are cool. And they're like, I got into the whole narrative and everything of the stuff.
So is there actually, within these like skinhead subcultures, is there actually like an ideology behind it? Or
absolutely.
Is it? Oh, there is.
Oh, absolutely. Hardcore ideology. Yeah. So that's the thing, is like the guys that I ran into, they weren't per se like what you would think like the skinhead subculture. It's anti-drug, it's working class. There's a lot of family morals and values. And it's really about just sticking with your own and taking care of your family and having like white working class morals and values. And, not mixing with other races,
So it's more of like a pride.
It's more of a pride, but there's all kinds of different like levels of it. You got different types of dudes that are more extreme than others. It just is. There's a whole bunch of different types of skin. I mean, you even got like skinheads against racial prejudice. I'm sure there's sharps here in Austin somewhere. They're basically like Antifa dudes, but they're skinheads. And you got skinheads that are just traditional skins. They're just into the dress code and the oi music, like from England. Right. It all started in England. So then it came over here to the United States, and so you got your trads, you got your sharps, and you got your neo-Nazis.
Right.
So
and neo-Nazis the most extreme.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where did you land on what spectrum?
I landed straight with the far right guys. Straight with the white supremacist deal. I just those guys were the ones that I was hanging out with, dude. And I started when I got into it really heavy. I read all the books. There's tons of books like from different white nationalist authors and stuff. So it's a whole subculture, and there's all kinds of propaganda and books. There's different religious factions, like as far as like, there's creator skinheads, there's Christian identity, people who have a Christian identity basis, and they believe that the white race is the true Israelites, that the white Adamic race are the true Israelites. And
isn't that wild? It's exactly what the black Israelites say.
It's the same type of thing. So they take the Bible and scripture, and they, and then when you read this stuff, it's pretty convincing, if you're open-minded to it. And I'm not going to say like some of the stuff that I read, dude, it made a lot of sense to me. It like hit home really hard with me.
What was one of a couple of the sticking points that made you believe, okay, yeah, we are like the superior race?
I read Nature's Eternal Religion by Reverend Ben Clausen, and that book changed it was like having an epiphany, dude.
Huh.
I read that book, and it really like had statistics in it, and like just all the things that I read in there were like, man, I've never looked at this like this before. It just gave me a whole new perspective on things, and logically, man, it just made sense to me.
Was it like look at black people are only this much of the population, but they commit this much crime?
Absolutely.
And look at Mexicans, they have all these kids, and kind of cherry picking these bad statistics from the other groups.
Absolutely. So that was exactly what it is. And then when I felt like that was the truth,
So did you feel like, oh, I'm part of a cause? Like I need to fight back?
Yes. I felt like our homeland, that we came over here and we basically built a civilization out of a Stone Age wilderness. And if it wasn't for us and our ingenuity, this country wouldn't even be here right now. And I felt like it was being overran by people who couldn't have built it in the first place.
Everybody is obsessed with being healthy, myself included. We want to live long, healthy lives, but the insurance company us over. The medical industry is corrupt. It's very, very expensive to have traditional insurance. Even visiting a doctor in this country will cost you thousands of dollars. And I know when you go there and you spend all the money and you see the doctor, you leave feeling like you got nothing accomplished. That's why these telehealth companies are disrupting that. They're going around the traditional medical industry and they're coming straight to you. And that's why I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Superpower. Check it out. Superpower sends a licensed professional to your home, or you can visit a nearby lab, and they do a blood draw. This blood draw has 100 biomarkers. That essentially tests for 100 different things in your body. 100 biomarkers, which is way more than what you usually get, and it unlocks a real understanding of your body as you head into a new year. So, for example, I've been having some health issues lately, and I need to change my diet. I feel foggy. I don't get enough sleep. I have bladder issues. So what I did was I had Superpower send a licensed professional to my house where I live in Texas. They drew my blood. They sent it into a lab. And then I got back literally the most accurate view of what's going on inside my body. And then from there, I got a recommendation from my Superpower app about the different kinds of supplements that I should take. Everything from heart, liver, thyroid, hormones, metabolism, vitamin and mineral levels, and even environmental toxins. All of this disease prevention, from treating foggy brain to simply optimizing at the gym. This is great for people who work out a lot too. They put me on a supplement and a nutrition plan that is going to last me through the year, and I'm already feeling better. I'm giving you this ad read and I'm killing it. My cognitive functions are firing because I took 4 of these pills right before I sat down that I got recommended by using the Superpower app. And check it out. It is so much more affordable doing it this way than it is to go to the doctor or even pay for monthly health insurance. Superpower used to cost $499, but right now it's just $199 for the full experience. That's more affordable than anything else out there. Other testing services charge $500, sometimes $1,000. Know your numbers this year. Know what's going on inside your body with Superpower. That is an unbeatable value and an unbeatable price. Make this the year that you stop guessing about your health. Not only did Superpower reduce their price to $199, but for a limited time, our listeners get an additional $20 off with code CONNECT. Head to superpower.com and use code CONNECT, CONNECT, at checkout for $20 off your membership. After you sign up, they'll ask how you heard about them, so make sure you mention this podcast to support the show. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Superpower. Go live to 100, guys. Make this your best life. Know what's going on inside your body. Get healthy and save a bunch of money, and give the middle finger to the insurance company. Superpower.com/connect. Thank you, Superpower.
So really, you know, the tropes from the movie American History X actually is taken from real life groups like what you were a part of.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you're still a teenager at this time?
I'm about 19 coming into this.
Okay. And you're not a criminal per se. You're not engaged.
Well, I was a criminal.
Are you engaged in criminal activity while
I'd already been through like 5 group homes, the California Youth Authority, and a boot camp in California. Like, yeah, I was heavily into criminal activity. And the thing is that before that, I kind of was I had done drugs as a youngster, you know, and then once I got into the skinhead subculture and I seen like drugs had taken me away from, you know, I had gotten married, I had 2 kids, and drugs had taken me away from my family and caught me my first term in prison. So after I went in, and then that's when I became a skinhead in there. Like, I became a skinhead on the streets with these dudes I was hanging out with. And then I just, you know, when I went in, that was it. And that's when I went in, it was when I really had time to sit down and learn more about it. Because really, these dudes didn't teach me much. They were just like, hey, these are the 14 words. This is like basically what we're into. And like, these guys were kind of like, they weren't really hardcore, like actual, like they would be considered needle Nazis because they did drugs, you know.
Needle Nazis?
Yeah. So like when I really seen what it was supposed to be about, I was like, yeah, dude, that's what I want. I don't want to be, you know, drugs took me away from my family. And
So how did you first catch? You caught a state bid first after you became an adult.
right, so I caught a state bid for strong arm robbery, and what I did was I was using meth, and I went out to the coast by like Guadalupe was the name of the town, like out by like Santa Maria and then Pismo Beach, and we robbed the Eagles Lounge. And what we did, this kid's dad used to work there, and he knew when they did the deposits, like when they would have the most amount of money in there. So we went in there and we went inside. There's 2 people in there. The lady came out with this trash bag. I had a fire extinguisher, dude, and I pointed this. I had a knife on me, but I didn't pull the knife out. I had like a fire extinguisher. I made her go back in the bar. We patted her down, took her phone from her, put her in the walk-in cooler, and then there was like an old cowboy dude sitting at the bar. I don't know, he's probably in his early 40s, and I was telling him, "Hey, where's the keys to the safe?" And he's like, "We don't got no money, man. Y'all get out of here." And I sprayed him in the face with the fire extinguisher and yanked him off the stool by the hair of his head. It blew his cowboy hat plumb off his head. And then I dragged him into the cooler, took his phone, and then we had this big-ass crowbar, and we just busted off the locks off they had like these, it was like a safe, but they had padlocks on it, and it had these sliding doors. So it was like homemade, and we just took the money out of there.
Right.
And we actually ended up getting busted because we had a girl that was a driver, and, you know, females, dude, are like notorious for not being able to hold their mud.
Folding, yeah.
Yeah, so she ended up getting busted on some unrelated stuff, and they asked her about somebody had burglarized the Eagles Lodge in Porterville, and she was like, they asked her about that, and she was like, "Oh, I was just a driver," and she tells about the robbery out there.
Yeah.
And then we all got.
And at this point, had you committed any like hate crimes? Like I'm thinking about like,
I mean,
like targeting Latinos, beating up blacks. Had you had any of that?
I mean, I was fighting with Latinos, dude, like all the time, like, cause like just being like the Norteños, where I live at is Norteños. Mm-hmm. There's some Sureños, but there's some homies and stuff, but there's not a lot of them. And like when I started hanging out with them skinhead dudes, yeah, we'd be fighting with the Norteños all the time because there's like an active beef between them and us at that time. Okay. So
I see.
So yeah, I mean, we were going out targeting them and vice versa. So it's like anytime you go to the store or like see them dudes, it was on site.
Wow.
So yeah.
So it was basically like a constant, like a low state of war.
We're
it's like prison.
It's like prison, yeah. But it's like I lived in this little apartment complex. This is actually where I first met her, my girl out here. It was called the Shady Village, and we ran it like a little prison yard. And they were like little bitty little, like one bedroom shotgun shack type apartment type things. And there was a lot of Norteños that started moving in there. I mean, there was just like a few of us, and then we just started having conflict. At first, we were trying to keep it cool in there, but then like one night, one of these dudes came by. I had this skinhead dude down from Pittsburgh, and the dude asked him where he was from, and he said he was a skinhead. And the dude, like, it was like some gangbanging dude, like ran up on my homeboy, and he had a box cutter, and he just gutted him, right? And so the next day, these dudes come back, and they're trying to get a one. They live in this trailer park called the Big Stump, like right next to the Shady Village, and they wanted to try to get a one-on-one with my homeboy, but they were like, "Hey, dude, we don't want to have a whole bunch of problems over here because, you know, this is where our families and stuff live. You guys got your kids over here. We got ours and stuff. So we're trying to keep this down to a minimum, but I want you to let these two dudes get a straight up fade." But like, we're like, "Nah, bro, like you guys always jump us, and you know, we're not giving, you know, your dude came over here. He was wrong. Like, he was in the wrong, bro. This is where we live and shit. Like, don't come up over into our house asking us where we're from and stuff. You guys already know we live here." But there was all kinds of different things that went on in that little apartment complex right there like that.
And it's all based around race
Yeah.
and racism from both sides.
From both sides. I mean, yeah, it's definitely both sides were like that.
So you caught this case, your first adult felony, I guess. And how much time? What did they give you?
I got 2 years, 8 months on that. So
Is
I got
this pre-strikes in California?
I got a strike for this case.
Okay,
It
so
was considered a violent felony.
Oh, so this is after 1994.
So yeah, it was definitely after. It was like early 2001, 2002, I believe.
I gotcha. Still though, not that much time, right?
Not too much because it was my first adult offense, so they didn't really hammer me too hard.
So what was state like in California? Where'd you go?
I went to North Kern State Prison. That was our reception, Delano. And then while I was there, what happened first? Let's see. I ended up getting into it with me and my homeboy Pup ran up in this dude's cell and beat this dude up for living outside of his race. He let a Mexican dude come into the cell with him. And really, like, we try to keep our numbers up because there's not a lot of white dudes anyways. So, like, if we lose a cell, then that's 2 more Mexicans that are in the units or 2 more blacks. Right. So we try to make sure we keep our cells. So that's why we don't let anybody else live with us. And it's just the house rules. You don't live outside of your race. And, so we ran in there after chow and beat this dude up. And,
a white dude. You're disciplining your own.
Yeah. We went in there, beat him up. We got sprayed with mace and stuff. And they basically just they took my homeboy to the SHU, to ADSEG. They put me in another unit. And then while I'm in another unit, this dude comes in off the bus and he's sitting down on the bench. The guy next to me came off the bus too. He said, "Hey, that dude didn't register as a sex offender." I'm like, "What?" And like, so everyone's locked down. So dude's down on the benches. It's like during count time. And my cellie is the tier tender and they pop his door. So I just run down there and blast that dude, get sprayed up. I go to the SHU, go to ADSEG, which is D6 in Delano. And I'm back there for like 6 months. They put me in for a SHU program in California. I got designated, but they didn't end up sending me to the SHU program because my MIRD came much, which is like your maximum early release date. And they're like, okay, we're going to kick you back out to reception. So that's what they did. And then they sent me to CMC East, which was considered a yard, like a PC yard, it's not per administration. It's considered GP, but as far as like good dudes, you're not supposed to be over there. So get over there. I'm there for about 10 days, and then we kick off their big riot with the Southsiders. Like there's like 60 of them and like 15 of us. And I go to the ADSEG there.
What happened? Did you get down?
Oh yeah. Oh man, that was a pretty crazy one. So it's basically like 300 or something because there's like this softball diamond. So there's like the backstop and it's all chain link and there's these bleachers behind it. And then there's like a 4-foot wall right here and just the walkway on the track. And so we were like in that little like bottleneck right there. So we were able to keep these dudes from getting around us and like really giving us the business because we were outnumbered. And, in California, dudes, at this time, I wasn't really like one of those dudes that was running around with a banger all the time. I'm just like fresh into this like adult type stuff. So, but I had a tomahawk, which is like a razor blades melted into a handle. And my homeboy had this dude in the headlock and I just was like, "Look out, bro." And I just whacked dude on the head. Yeah. And then I was like, through the razor blade and we're fighting. I ended up getting a compound, like a boxer's fracture, broke my 5th metacarpal. And so they finally come out. They use all their mace on us. They go to their side handle batons, start beating us all down with the batons. Then they finally get control of the riot. Then we jump up again and start going again.
Before they cuff you?
Before they can cuff us, but they didn't have enough cuffs, so they're out there like trying to zip tie fools, and then we jump up again because there was like a couple of Serenos right there in our area. So like we was like, we get these dudes again, let's go, and then we jumped up again and did it.
And I imagine those guards are nothing nice when they have the batons out.
So they dude, you're gonna be talking about like your whole lower back. Like they're supposed to hit you in the legs with them, dude, but they'll blast you in the back or wherever to break your arm, break your leg, whatever.
Right.
You'll have like big old black bruises all over you for weeks.
Yeah, I would do it to you too. 100 of you guys, I'd probably try to break your back.
Yeah, dude, I mean, it's excessive force, really, like the way that they do that, but they had to get control of the situation, I guess. But they came out there after the goon squad ended up coming out on the yard. Usually that doesn't happen, but they come out with those block guns and start shooting dudes, and they gain control of the situation. But yeah, it took them a while to get us down, and then we jumped back up, and so it was a pretty big riot.
Okay, so you earned your stripes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like you weren't afraid to.
I was putting in work right from the rip, dude. What's crazy is like everyone's like, hey, you get asked to put in work. I've never been asked to put in work. I've always took initiative. Nobody's ever told me, hey, Bumper, you got to go do this.
Right.
I just went, I'm like, what's up? I got this one.
Well, because it seems like most people in those situations kind of just, they're like, all right, it's my turn. You know, I got to go, run this dude off the yard. I got to do it. But it seemed like you were driven by this ideology as much as it was like survival. Is that accurate?
Right. So when you're a skinhead, like part of a disruptive group is like what they classify us as. Like we're like frontline soldiers, dude, for our race. So when anything like that happens and it's a racial issue, we're gonna go as hard as possible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's wild. So I assume you maxed out.
Yeah, I did the whole bid, 2 years, 8 months on it. Yeah.
And you got clean in there.
I got clean. Yeah.
You were reading, you were kind of solidifying what, this racism or this racist ideology. And you come home. How long are you out? Did you got a job? Did you?
No, I didn't. So when I got out, I didn't get a job, bro. I just hit the ground running, bro. I tried, but the unemployment rate's pretty high in Tulare County. So, jobs were scarce, and that was another thing that just
there's nothing out there, man.
Multiplied or made me feel like these people were stealing my jobs.
Right.
I couldn't find a job, and being a felon, it was just difficult. And so I maybe had like a few odd and end jobs, but I was a tattoo artist, so I just had my equipment and I would tattoo on the side, and that's how I got by. And mostly it was a lot of drinking and partying and doing the whole skinhead thing.
Today's episode is brought to you by Hims. You guys, I don't even need the ad read. I'm going off script here because I use Hims all the time. I'm a faithful customer. Everybody I know uses Hims. Every guy and now woman I know uses Hims. This is one of the fastest growing companies on earth. They're a huge disruptor, and whatever is ailing you, whether you got erectile dysfunction, you're bald, you're a fat and you need to lose weight, Hims has you. If you're depressed, they have medicine for that. Okay, if you have anxiety, Hims has you covered. This is a one-stop shop for all of your medical needs. But for today, I'm going to talk about the ED treatments specifically. Everybody I know has erectile dysfunction, and everybody I know gets their pills from Hims. I'm a pioneer of it. I've had ED for years. I used to have to cross the border from San Diego into Tijuana and go to sketchy pharmacies to get my medicine. No more. How about getting it delivered straight to your door discreetly and within like 5 days of ordering it? I'm telling you, ED treatment options ranging from personalized products to trusted generics that cost 95% less than brand names, if prescribed. Believe me, it's getting prescribed. You shouldn't go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hims brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatments that put your goals first. And again, this isn't a one-size-fits-all care that forgets you in the waiting room. It's your health and goals put first, with real medical providers making sure you get what you need to get results. Think of Hims as your digital front door that gets you back to your old self with simple 100% online access to trusted treatments for ED and more, all in one place. Trust me, your wife or that lady of the night from Tijuana that you paid for the hour, they're going to appreciate it. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and so much more, visit hims.com/connect. Again, that's hims.com/CONNECT for your free online visit. One more time, baby, hims.com/connect. Go get you some Hims. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription is required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan.
Did you ever sell drugs?
No, I never sold drugs. Never sold drugs.
Do the skinheads who are involved in meth, usually meth, maybe some coke, maybe some heroin, right? Do they see the hypocrisy in blaming, black people for committing crime when they themselves are committing crime?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so, man. They're just, I don't believe they probably see the hypocrisy in that, or like the using the drugs themselves.
I'm sure they rationalize it.
Right.
It's different when we do it.
And those guys, though, when you look at the actual like skinhead movement, like the people that are in the white power movement, and compared to those dudes that are doing that are not accepted. Mm-hmm. Those guys make us look bad as far as doing the things that they do. So we look at them like they're trash too.
Right. Okay. So how do you grow, or what kind of movement do you join that's maybe different than the one that you originally were brought into as a teenager in terms of like the white power movement?
So what I did was I started my own crew. Like the ones that were in Tulare County weren't like on the type, they were doing drugs, they were doing all this. And I was like, listen, dude, I was trying to find guys that were wanted to be on the same type of time I was. And so I founded a crew with a couple other dudes called Smash Team 88. And I actually did pretty good with that. And we started going to shows and stuff in California, like thrown by like the big skinhead crews in Cali. And
like rock shows?
Yeah, like bands like Blue Eyed Devils and Max Resist and White Knuckle Driver, Stormtroop 16. We go into these different shows and like meeting these other like active, like righteous skinheads in Cali. So
racism aside, those are rad band names.
Yeah.
Now, were you blasted on your head and stuff like that by this point?
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys are wearing like the Doc Martens?
Absolutely. Doc Martens, red laces, braces. We call them braces. They're suspenders, but we call them braces, boots and braces, black-eyed faces.
And where are some of these other pockets of white power groups? Like what areas of California?
So they're all over. I mean, but like San Diego, Sacramento, Fresno, a lot of the cities, there's San Francisco, there's skinheads up there, Nazi skinheads up there, all over the place. You might not see it so much like out in your face, but they're there.
It's so wild to me because it's like you think about California, the person who doesn't know is like, oh, it's where you can become trans at 5. You get canceled for saying anything racist. Everybody's half gay. So it's fascinating, this subculture. And when I watched American History X, I was like, nah, this is bullshit. This is like from a bygone era. But this still exists in the peripheries, you know. And do you guys have to stay low? Like when you go to these parties or these concerts, do these have to be out of the way? Is it invite only?
Yeah, so it's invite only. We're not going to you don't want to advertise it because you're going to have people that are going to absolutely come and try to, you don't want the feds monitoring people. You don't want sharps or Antifa or BLM people knowing where you're having these shows at because it could become an issue. It was, it's like for us, by us type thing.
Right. Did you guys wear a lot of FUBU?
No. That's funny though.
So essentially it is like Antifa. These groups are like Antifa, but turned on its head.
Right. It's just the opposite. It's the polar opposite of it's the, of what they're doing. We're doing the opposite. And
is it like biker gangs, which I've learned now are essentially just men who are joined together by a common love of riding, and many of them happen to be involved in illicit activity, and that's how they just fund their lifestyle as like outlaw bikers, right? They weren't formed to be criminal organizations, like a drug trafficking group. Is that kind of how like these white skinhead organizations are?
We don't criminality is not promoted. We're supposed to be working class, like stand up individuals. Right. You can't. It's just like a criminal lifestyle is not like what the whole thing is about. It's about being working class, like having old school white morals and values and taking care of your people,
But certainly, a lot of these guys are doing shit on the side.
Some of them, like those are the ones like if I go out, even today, like if I was to go out today, and get into a fight with somebody who's not white, and just by my affiliation, dude, I feel like I'll get another hate crime. Mm-hmm. So definitely, I'm just, what it is with me today is that I'm not as radical or hateful as I used to be before. I actually went, like when I got to the feds, I started. In California, the racial lines are really, really severely drawn. There's not a lot of interaction between the other races. Whereas when you go into the Federal Bureau of Prisons, there is a lot of different. There is a lot of interactions. Right. You do a lot more business with them. Yeah. If you're running a ticket, you're going to have people gambling with you and putting in bets that are different races. You just get to meet other men, and you get to see how these dudes operate, and you see men with good morals and values, and you start seeing that there's good and bad in all different cars. So
definitely,
you're like, I just decided myself that I put in all this work for this. This is my second hate crime, dude. These guys basically fell apart, left me high and dry when I supposedly am in here as a for something that's considered like a trophy, like having like a really honorable thing to do. And I was like, man, I've sacrificed a lot of my life for this, dude.
Well, you say your second hate crime. What was your first hate crime?
My first one was I was at these kids from the North Daniels from the Shady Village. I went out to this bowling alley and was bowling, and these dudes show up. And we get into a fight in the parking lot. Well, these guys have a black dude and a homosexual dude with them. And after it's all said and done, the homosexual kid said that I knew who he was and that I attacked him because of his sexuality, which was a lie. I don't even know. Never met this kid, nothing. But that's what he said, and that's what caused it to be a hate crime. It got dropped down to a misdemeanor violation of civil rights, and basically was nothing. I got a violation on it. But
did you go back for violating, like after you got out of the state?
Yeah, I did. I did several violations. Mainly that was one of them. And then what was the other one? The other one was that I basically home invasion, kidnapped this chick out of this house, and this girl I was dating, and took her out to Arkansas, and they tried to get me with that, but she went down to the substation, told him no, he didn't kidnap me type thing, but that's a long story right there. That one is.
Sounds like a fetish. I wanted it.
Yeah. So,
did you now when you and through this whole course of going in and out of the state, you're putting in work. You learn how to use a knife, book people. Do you get into any of that?
So the only thing I did I didn't start booking people until I went to the feds. You know, I had stabbed people on the streets and stuff, but I really didn't do a lot of knife work in CDC. In CDC, I was on level 3 yards, and there was some knife play and stuff like that, but not as much as you'll see on the level 4 yards, which is basically when I went to the feds was the type of yards I was on, the equivalent of their USPs.
Yeah. But you're a big dude. You could just smash somebody out. Did you ever have to run off a dude in the state for bad paperwork? Did they ever let like a white guy in that wasn't supposed to be there?
That the dude that didn't register as a sex offender, that guy. And then the rest of it was just like riots.
Yeah. Were you excited by that, or were you just like,
I loved it, dude. I loved the violence, dude. I don't know why, but like whenever I got to do that stuff, it was such a rush, like to be able to just the whole thing, just going, just beating the shit out of someone, getting sprayed, all that. I loved it, dude.
Yeah, it is. There's an exciting, I guess in theory, it sounds exciting. Not my cup of tea. I'm more of a Fed guy. I'd rather do business, but
right.
That's wild. And you learned how to spend extended periods of time in the shoe in isolation. That's trained you for what was to come. So tell us about how you went down and caught a Fed case.
So with the Fed case, I had discharged my T number, CDC number, and me and my chick moved out to Arkansas, and she had met this couple, this white nationalist couple, who were part of a group called Combat 18, which is supposed to be like a super militant white supremacist organ. Well, they're not supposedly, they are. And we meet this couple, and was like we're trying to meet like-minded people out there. So we start talking to them. They live about 3 hours away from us, though, and they come down for Christmas and hang out with us at our house. And then it just so happened it was like Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, and they had invited us up there to a meet and greet. So we go up there, and while we're up there, we're all drinking, getting drunk. The girls go to bed, and it's just the guys out there, and it's me, the guy Jason, whose house it was, and these two youngsters. One of them was my probate, my fresh cut.
Can you explain what that is?
So those fresh are cut guys that were basically grooming to become skinheads.
Okay. So it's almost like in a biker gang where you have your prospect.
We call them prospects.
Okay.
They call them prospects. We'll call them probates or fresh cuts. And the dude starts going in about this guy going down to his girl's work and making sexual innuendos towards her, and like passes at her that she's told dude she's not interested, but dude keeps like going down there she worked at the bakery at the local grocery store, and this is like a little bitty town in Arkansas called Evening Shade. And I guess this guy had come down from Kansas City, got involved with the church down there, and started dating this, he's a black dude, started dating this white woman from the church. So he had a girlfriend, but he was down here doing this over here at the bakery with my guy's girlfriend. And he was like, man, we got a Molotov cocktail at this dude's house. I'm like, I got a gas can. My fresh cut's like, I'll go grab some bottles. It was like that fast.
Wow. Just
like no hesitation. So we all jumped in my car, take off to go to the gas station, get some gas. Like in between wherever this dude lived out in the country in a trailer. And I'm telling these guys, I'm like, hey, dude, I think we should just knock on this dude's door. When he opens it, we'll pull him out in the yard and give him a boot party.
That's what you guys called stomping somebody out?
Stomping somebody out, yeah, give him a boot party. The dude's like, nah, I want to burn this house down, right? But this dude, honestly, this guy's he's pump faking the whole time, because if he really wanted to do that, you're not just going to go and throw a freaking bottle up against the dude's door. You'll soak a couch cushion or something in gas and stuff it underneath his trailer where it's silent. You're not going to throw bottles through their windows. It was a scare. It was a scare tactic. It was basically like a terroristic threatening type thing that he was wanting to do. He wasn't really trying to do anything. And I realized that later, but at the time I was like, all right, well, I told him, well, look, dude, I'm not really cool with doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drive. And I drove him over there. They made the Molotovs in the back seat, got out, threw them at the dude's trailer. He threw his right up against the front door, busted. My fresh cut he actually did the best out of all of them. He threw his right through the living room window. And that guy's youngster threw his right over the trailer and landed in the field. So that's what actually got me a Fed case. Dude dropped his lighter, and then as we're leaving, tells me to go back. He needs to go back and get it because it's a family heirloom. And I'm like, man, that lighter. He's like, dude, it might have my prints on it. I'm like, dude, I turn around. We go back. He gets out the car. These people were sitting out on the porch, and he tells dude, he knows him by name, hey, Lamar, take your crack smoking ass back to Kansas City or next time I'll kill you. And then he looks at the dude's girl and says, you too, lover. Yeah. And that's what actually right there put them to where they could start connecting the dots. Like I said, our Arkansas didn't have a hate crime statute at the time, I don't believe. So the feds immediately, the feds operate a lot in Arkansas. Right. I didn't really see a lot of that in California where I was living, but I did notice like in these rural areas, I don't know if it's something to do with funds or whatever, but there's a lot of meth conspiracy cases. There's a lot of gun cases and stuff that get picked up by the feds.
In Arkansas specifically?
In Arkansas, yeah.
Oh, it's interesting. I don't know.
So they pick the dude up for his youngster was AWOL from the Navy. They pick him up, and he tells immediately. And then that led them to everybody else.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ava. You guys always hear me talk about financial freedom, achieving financial goals, getting out of the rat race. What's the best way to do that? It's by having good credit. But how do you get good credit if you're in a hole and your credit took a hit, or if you've got nothing to start with, you don't even have any credit? How do you start building that up? Ava is one of the best ways to do it. Ava is a credit building app that's designed to work fast and help your credit score where it really matters. So your credit score can start climbing with zero effort. Here's how it works. Ava will report all of your on-time payments to all of the major credit bureaus every day, every week, every month. That's how it works. And because we live in a subscription-based society now, almost every payment that you have is on a subscription. It can be everything from your Netflix account to your rent. I mean that. Ava can now report your rent, utility, and phone bills automatically, even up to 24 months of past payments. So your everyday payments help build credit faster. This is all included in your Ava membership. So think about that. The payments that you're making automatically anyways are now reported to the credit agencies, and your credit score starts building automatically. Also, if you're new to the game, you can get the Ava credit card, which you get approved for in 5 minutes with no credit check, and it offers up to a $2,500 credit limit. That is a great tool to get yourself into the game. Take control of your credit today. Download the Ava app, that's AVA, and when you join, use my promo code CONNECT20, that's CONNECT20. You'll get 20% off your first year. That's monthly or annually, your choice. Again, grab the Ava app, AVA, and use my promo code CONNECT20 so they know you heard it from me, and you'll get 20% off any plan for up to a year. That's promo code CONNECT20. Thanks to Ava. Now go and get yourself some good credit.
So you guys get picked up. You're facing crazy numbers. And I think how long were you fighting? How long were you in county?
I fought my case for a little over a year. It was the day before St. Patty's Day of 2011 whenever I got arrested. You know, it was the Joint Terrorism Task Force, the ATF, and the FBI that came to my house and basically ran down on me. They got me out this. They knocked on my side door so I couldn't see out the front. And I went to the side. I opened the door, and it wasn't like a whole bunch of people. It was a local law enforcement. And they're like, hey, Mr. Dodson, can we talk to you for a second? I'm like, all right. About what? And they're like, well, just I already had the door open. They're like, just step down here, put your phone down. And I was like, what's this about? And they're like, well, you got a warrant for your arrest. And I was like, for what? And then when I was like, then boom, it seemed like they're coming up out of the ground. There were so many of them, dude. And I was like, where did they all come from? Like, so yeah, they just came down just like you see in the movies with the MP5s and all that shit.
Were you already in a database of like, you know, white hate groups at this point?
Just from the places that I'd been going, and I'd traveled via airline to like some shows with a very high profile white nationalists, and that put me on a like domestic terrorist watch list.
Right. Did you have any like swastikas or anything like that?
Yeah, I had I had the ones on the side of my head and you know, up my arm, and then just other skinhead tattoos. Right.
Okay. So things aren't looking good for you. What was your eventual sentence? How do they adjudicate it?
They gave me 10 years for the violation of civil rights, and then they ran consecutive the Molotov cocktail as a felon in possession of a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence, and they gave me 60 on. So it was 120 months, and then 60 months ran consecutive. So it ended up being 15-year sentence.
Were you the only one that did time over that case?
No, everybody did time. Okay. Everybody did time. The two youngsters ended up getting like 5.5 years. The guy who wanted to do all this shit in the first place, he got 20 years because when they raided his pad, he had a rifle there. So they found a rifle, like a .22 rifle at his house. And they gave him like 5 extra years because of that. Well, his girl, she did a proffer interview. So basically she cooperated from the rip. And she was out on the streets setting dudes up on gun cases and drug cases and getting time knocked off this dude's sentence while she's getting time knocked off his sentence. So he got out like 5 years earlier than I did. So he done like 10 on 20. But the cool thing about this, and this is another cool thing that I you know, I don't like to flex about being in prison or all that shit because I don't feel like it's a flex, dude. Nothing cool about, you know, squandering years of your life, dude. Right. But this dude, when I landed at my first penitentiary, was in the shoe. He had checked in, and they asked if he wanted to come back out because he found out I was on the yard. And I guess I don't know how he thought that I didn't know he was going to be willing to testify against me, but they let him out, dude. And he got a boot party viciously.
Wow. Yeah. You and your boys?
Just me. I slept him, got on him, mucked him out. I jumped on him and I'm hitting him. Boom, boom. When I hit him, dude, he just I could just heard like, ugh, and he just started falling forward like a tree, dude. And I kind of just pushed his back. And then when he fell on the ground, I jumped on him and I was just hitting him like I was straddling his back. And then I realized I had these composite toe boots that they issue us. And I was like, oh no, dude, this is what this dude gets. The way that it went down, I wanted to really stab the dude, but I just got there. I was only there for like a week, so I didn't have a knife or nothing. I couldn't figure out how to move yet, you know, it just worked out that way. But I feel like it was appropriate. When the dudes in the back were like, Bumper, man, I seen your work, dude. And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I got that dude good enough. They're like, got him good enough, bro. I couldn't even tell if that dude was black or white when he came on the range. He looked like the Elephant Man.
Wow.
I was mad. I was mad about that.
And so he was just going to be boys with you. Like he didn't think you knew.
I played it off like that when he seen me too. I was rocking him to sleep because honestly, when they had called SIS, had called me up to the office, and I took this little dude from Mississippi with me up there because, you know, we can't go up there and talk to him by ourselves. And this was all new to me because in California, we don't go and like do any kind of like, so I'm like, hey, is this normal? Like, and they're like, yeah, dude, it's cool. Come on, let's go. Go up there like, hey, man, this guy, Jason Barnwell's up here. He wants to come out of the shoe, you know. And I'm like, dude, when you check in, when you PC up in California, they don't let you do that. That's not like an option, bro. You're done. That's it. So when they were asking, I was like, these dudes aren't going to really let this dude out here. And they did.
Imagine that in the feds, the highest law of the land. They're like, hey, do you want to go be a gang member? Like, do you want to go bid? Do you want to go program?
Yeah.
Wow. So you went up there and like, yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell him.
He's a buddy of mine. Tell him to come out.
I'm not going to tell him who can come in and out of the shoe. That's their job. You know, if they want to let him out, then please do.
Wow. And so did you go to the hole for that?
Oh, yeah, I was in the hole. I got an FBI referral for that. They almost picked up more time. I almost picked up more time for that one. I was back there for about 4 months on that one before the FBI kicked the shot back. But then the SIS lieutenant was like, hey, Dodson, I don't know who you pissed off down in Arkansas, but I've never had the FBI pay like so much close attention to a referral as they did on this one. And I don't know if he was just trying to say that or like just to scare me from like trying to do anything else there or what, but yeah.
Were you scared at this point of catching more time?
Not at all.
Okay.
So I was 32 when I caught this bid. 180, like 15 years, that's almost half the time I'd been alive, bro. I really couldn't even, to me, I felt like I was buried. Yeah. I felt like my life was over. You know, I'm getting out in my 40s, dude. Like I'm going to be ancient.
Right. And you saw some crazy shit immediately with a guard. Can you tell us about this?
Oh, so before I even got to the actual Federal Bureau of Prisons, I was in a holding facility in Arkansas. So initially I was in Little Rock, like Pulaski County Jail in Little Rock. So of course, like was like a completely new, I'd never been out of jail outside of California. So this was like all new to me. I'm going to a county jail where the guards have gold teeth and the female guards have gold teeth and freaking fingernails and stuff. Like it was super ghetto. Yeah. And so it was just a whole new environment of doing time for me. Yeah. But they have these satellite facilities where they hold federal inmates. The marshals have contracts with them. And they sent me out to Dallas County, Fordyce, Arkansas, which is like, when you pull up to this jail, it literally looks like somebody, you know how these guys have 10 shops out on their property with like, it looked like a metal siding building. I'm like, dude, this is a jail. And you get in there and it's like really small jail, you know, really country, like super country. Super. And I'm like, wow. So I'm out here and there's some, I'm in a pod, it's all federal people fighting federal cases. And they bring this dude in, this white dude down from the feds, and he's affiliated. And we go to church one day, and I watch this dude, he sees this gurney they got like a gurney in the chapel, and he just reaches over and starts wrenching on the side of this gurney dude and gets this big old stainless steel flat piece of metal about that wide off of it. And I'm like, damn, what's this fool doing? And I know what he's doing, you know. And then so he makes him a banger for the little jail right there. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, dude, this jail ain't like that. Why do we need that? You know, but this is my first, I'm like not realizing like where I'm getting, he's coming down from the Fed. So that's how his mind's already on. He's coming from you know, that type of environment. Yeah. And I'm not even knowing what I'm walking into at this time. But so I got, you know, I see him do that. I make me a knife too. And he's out playing poker with these black dudes, you know, and they're getting into like this argument, and he takes that knife out and he starts slamming it on the table, dude. Hey, pick it up. I swear to God, you pick this up and I'll kill you with it. And I'm like, oh shit. We'd all been drinking. Everybody in the pod's drunk. Black dudes, everybody's drunk in here. And so I'm like, damn. And then after that's done, like, dude don't want no smoke. He's like, hell no, this white boy's crazy, right? He don't want no smoke. So as that's happening, this other white dude's up in the cell fighting with this other black dude, a black gang member. But nobody's jumping in or nothing, like, cause everybody in the pod kind of gets along, and we're just like living in there. So it's like kind of weird, cause like in California, this would have already caused a race riot. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing all this shit happen. I go get my knife. I go up there in the cell, separate these dudes from fighting, and I pull the black rep down to my cell with me to talk to him. I mean, like, this wasn't a type of place where there's like a lot of politics. So, but there are dudes in the unit that can talk to each other and kind of smooth things over. So I'm talking to this dude, Richie Rich. I'm like, hey, he's a black dude from Little Rock. I'm like, hey, bro, you know, everyone's drinking and shit. Like, we're going to keep dude over here. You keep dude up there, get him cleaned up or whatever, because the dude got banged up pretty bad. This other dude, though, that I'm with that big old knife, he's a loose cannon, bro. Like, this dude's off the chain. He's already down on a case the feds had picked up from Forest City, where he basically, like, I seen the pictures, bro. This dude just like completely brutalized a sex offender. Then he got somebody else in the shoe, and like these dudes, these pictures, dude, they're not dead, but these dudes like murder scenes and shit. And like he basically, like, he's putting in some serious work, dude. So I'm like, damn, check this shit out. And so it's me, him, Richie Rich, and my cellie comes in, and he's like, everybody out of the cell. This is my cell, you know. I'm like, hold on, bro. We're talking about the shit that just happened up here, bro. We're trying to smooth shit out. And he's like, no, everybody out of the cell. Well, when he did that, I'm like, you know, I just jumped up and fired on him and broke his nose. And we start fighting. Boom, boom, boom. And he clips me. I go down on my knee, dude. I come up. I got my knife in my hand already. I just start stabbing him. Boom, boom, boom. And then so the other white dude, grabs him, yokes him up like this in a chokehold. And this is another white guy, but like the way dude went about that was super disrespectful. Mm-hmm. So he's like, nah, come here, big boy. This is a big dude, right? So he yokes him up, falls through the doors. I'm on top of him, you know. They fall back, stabbing him. I got an ice pick. It's not like a serious like knife, so I'm not doing too much damage to this dude, but I'm on top of him, and I like blank out and go red, dude, like all the way. And them see the deputies come in. They got tasers at this jail. And as they're coming over, like, Dodson, get off of him, get off of him. And these two youngsters are like walking around these dudes, and these dudes get scared and they run out of the pod. And well, as they do, like, I've come to, like, what, you know, I could hear them, but I can't see nothing. Like, I literally seen like a red curtain, like, and I come to and I let this dude up. We let this dude up. He's all covered with blood. He runs out of the unit. And we know they're coming back to lock us down. So we're like, man, this, we're not gonna lock down until we drink all this hooch. And so we're trying to pound all this hooch we made. We hear the door open to the rotunda, and then we hear them come. We know they're coming to our pod. There's 5 pods in the jail. It's like set up like this, and they're coming from up in the main corridor or whatever. And we know they're coming, so we go up to the door. Boom. This dude that was slamming that knife down on the table with the black dude was right here next to me, to my left-hand side. I'm right here in front of the door, and there's 2 other youngsters right here on this side of me. When he opens the door, it's like, Dodson, what the hell do y'all got going on in here, right? So I'm telling you, this is a Podunk County jail. Yeah. Like, these dudes are hillbilly as hell. Right. And as soon as he sticks his neck across, like, the threshold of the door where this guy can see him, he just, bam, like, he just like that, dude. I don't realize the dude stabbed him at first, but I find out, the next morning they come in. So what they do, they immediately shut the door, boom. And I hear him on the other side, hey, Parnell, you're bleeding, right? So I'm thinking dude just busted his mouth or something. We're sitting here like hugging each other, high-fiving and celebrating and shit. And finally they come back with the local SWAT team. They're coming in here with live ammo. I've never seen that. Like, I've been doing time since I've never seen the cops come in and like control a situation in a jail like that with actual live, actual guns and live ammo, dude. So they come in, they lock us down, dude. We start flooding, burning the cell. And then they come in, they pepper spray me, take me up front, strip me naked, got me naked up there for days, dude. With this other, then they finally put me in this crazy bastard that just stabbed this cop in the neck, in the cell with me, right? And dude missed this dude's carotid and his jugular by like centimeters, went into his esophagus, and they had to airlift him off to Little Rock. So it's like
the cop, the CO,
the sheriff's deputy at that little jail.
Wow. Now, did he? I know you didn't know the cop got stabbed, but did he pull the knife back or did he leave it in his neck?
No, he pulled it out. He had it. So we like, as soon as that shit happened, dude, we knew they were coming. So we had this little SA homie from Texas grab the bangers and go hide them. Hey, bro, get rid of these. Wow. And but they found them. We ended up getting charged with conspiracy to commit attempted capital murder and possession of weapons by incarcerated persons. So like right there, before I even get to the feds, I'm feeling like my life's over with. I'm like, oh, dude, it's over with.
Life sentence.
We're hit.
Holy
and because I didn't realize dude was gonna stab that dude like that. That wasn't like part of the plan, but dude was a pretty cool dude, and he was already looking at a gang of time. He had and he also had like some really severe health issues, like to where he was dying from like some kind of a prostate cancer or something like that. So dude was like, hey man, I'm gonna get this charge up off you, don't trip. So he ended up taking the accountability and telling him, hey man, how is this gonna be a conspiracy when this dude didn't even know I was gonna do that, because I didn't know I was gonna do that. Wow. It just happened when I seen the taser, I stuck, dude. Wow. So he did me a solid on that one. So I dodged a bullet on that one.
Wow. Holy shit. Guy was dead man walking though, because I'm sure he's never getting out.
I can't remember how much time he got. He didn't get buried though, but he's got enough time where it's going to hold him for a minute. And then so they charged him in the state of Arkansas for that. So when he's done with his Fed bid, he's got to go to Arkansas and do like 30 years out there for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't charge him federally if he stabbed a cop in a federal jail.
Well, the thing is that those officers working there are actual county deputies, sheriff deputies. Yeah. So the sheriff of that county was like, no, we don't want to charge them in the state of Arkansas for this. So they didn't want the feds to come in, even though we're under marshal's custody and stuff. They didn't want the feds coming in and taking control of that case because it happened in their jail, their jurisdiction, and they're like, hey, man, this is one of our guys. We want to charge them in the state. Wow.
So you realized, the feds, this is serious business.
Yeah.
That was your introduction to it. You haven't even hit the main line yet. You weren't even at a facility. Okay, so you get to the feds, you smash dude out, beat the case, and then where was your first stop?
My first stop in the feds was USP McCreary, and that's where I ran into my co-defendant and stomped him out.
Right.
And so I was there I think I stayed there at that joint for about 2.5 years maybe. So I got there in 2012, and I went to the Lewisburg SMOO program in April of 14, so not even like that long at all. I ended up getting into it with my co-defendant, crushing him out. And then I was drinking, got into a fight with my cellie, went to the shoe for that, got a drinking shot. Then they put this freaking dude in my unit that was turned out to be a rapist from Washington, D.C., an old white dude. And which, dude, I've only seen like a couple of white dudes from Washington, D.C. in the feds anyways. Usually it's just D.C. blacks, dude. So it was just odd. This is like a odd thing anyways. And his paperwork comes out and we find out what he did. I don't know the specifics of it until later on, but we had told his cellie and this other dude to handle it. Well, this dude's cellie was like this Russian dude, like this Russian national dude, and he was like not really with the business and stuff. And like it seemed like all these dudes in the unit were kind of like duck and wreck, didn't want to put in the work. Everyone had something to do or whatever. And I watch the Russian dude walk up to the guy. Now, this guy was being really weird too. He wouldn't come over to our TV area. He would like stay close to the cop shop and just like watching TV over there. And he wouldn't like he was just a really weird dude, man. So you can like those guys, the SOs and stuff, the chomos and people like that are like predators. They almost got like this look, dude. You can almost tell like what it is. But
it's like a look of shame, maybe, or is it just like a detachment? I know what you're talking about because I was locked up in Oregon and like they just let the chomos run free on the main line. It's chaos, you know what I mean? Because they don't get disciplined, they don't get taken off the yard hardly. I know what you're talking about.
So it's just like a certain look, man, like long, stringy, like unkempt, like they don't take care of their hygiene very well, dude. They're just like long fingernails usually. I don't know. It's just a weird, like, it's just, I don't know if that's like a identifying factor or whatever. But to me, in my personal experience, those dudes always have like a certain vibe and a look to them.
Right.
And this dude fit it to the T. And he was standing over there. The Russian dude goes over to him and basically starts, I see him pointing towards the office and then pointing up towards the cell. And I'm like, I look at my homeboy James. I'm like, hey, this telling this dude to check in, bro. He's gonna walk this dude up top, dog. Hell no, this dude ain't getting out of here. Ain't nobody leaving without lumps on my watch, dog. So my homeboy James just like coughs a squat up next to the wall, and I watched this dude walk into the office, and I'm like, oh, here we go. So the cops gets on the radio, and I know he's calling compound over to the unit to get dude out of there to have him come pick him up. So as he's walking this dude past us, we take this dude from the cop and just start beating the shit out of this dude. I put like $190,000 worth of reconstructive surgery on this dude's face just with my fist. Fractured his skull in 6 places, broke his jaw on 3, knocked his teeth out, broke his nose, crushed both of his orbital sockets. And they try to say that I hit him with a lock because they said a lock imprint was visible on the side of his head, but I didn't never use no weapon, bro. It was all with my fist. Yeah. And that's what got me sent to Lewisburg SMOO program.
Okay. What is the SMOO program?
So Lewisburg SMOO is where they send all the knuckleheads and the feds, or it was. It's not around anymore. They shut it down. But that's where like all your dudes get sent for like high profile gang members having too much influence, or dudes that are putting in knife work, or dudes that are doing violent assaults. And initially that's what it was for, like nothing but like your most violent offenders. But they started sending dudes for like wine and drugs and stuff. So it kind of got towards the end there, you could get sent for next to anything. But initially, dude, it was just for like your heavy hitters.
Okay. And this is like a special yard at Lewisburg?
It's set up like just like the California shoe is. So they got these cages out there, and you go out to wreck in these cages out there.
Wow. So you're really in it, bro. You're in a dog cage.
This like
doing burpees and
all that.
Wow. How the organization that you're moving with, well, first of all, in the feds, as a white, as a skinhead from California, what car are you moving with? Like, how is that? How did you identify?
I ran with skinheads.
Okay.
So there's different skinheads from all over the place. I was just with the skinheads like that.
Forgive me if I'm being too personal, but the Aryan Brotherhood, is that a real thing?
It's absolutely a real thing.
How much is that talked about? How real, not real, how prevalent is that in the feds and in your specific journey through the feds?
So you got to think that in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and especially in the USP, I never dropped down to a lower level than a USP. I was there the whole 13 years, 8 months. Wow. And so I was basically, due to my, violent behavior, whatever, and just getting shots repeatedly, I stayed at the USP level. All the main gangs and prison tips from all these different states, all the big names, they're there. They're all there from those guys, the Black Hands, the NF, all the main California tips are on the lines in the feds. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you meet those good dudes. Mm-hmm. I know a lot. I know a lot of them personally mm-hmm. that are considered really good friends of mine, and just a bunch. You meet a lot of different high profile people in there. Right. So
now, you being just a wrecking ball of violence, just a good dude that's just ready to just take off. Were you recruited, or what was your function day to day?
Function day to day, basically, dude. Or
were you just programming?
I'm just programming. I'm living my life, bro. And then when something happens, it just happens. And then just maybe something pops up, dude, and I just end up finding myself in these situations, Right. But as far as recruiting, I will say that I've honestly probably had since, you got to think as a skinhead, I'm not really a member of a prison gang, because it's just, being a skinhead is you're part of a street movement, mm-hmm. And so these gangs are looking at you, and you're gonna get. I've had almost every different organization at one point or another pull up on me and basically either outright ask me to tip up with them, or in a roundabout fashion hint around at it. But I was like this, man. I came in a skinhead, I'm going to leave a skinhead.
Right. Okay. So, and are you still studying this stuff? Are you still pushing this ideology?
Yeah, I'm still doing that. I'm still associating with dudes that are on that type of time. Like I said, basically with me, the thing is that I am not as radical as I used to. I'm proud to be white, dude. I'm never not gonna say that I'm not proud to be a white man. I just have mellowed out a whole lot, mm-hmm. and then I've seen certain things that were showed to me, like the loyalty wise and the whole, I feel like kind of a lot of the people are fake. They're just pretending to do that stuff. When I go out and actually do the things that these people are singing about in songs, I get, people want to distance themselves from me. I couldn't get people even yeah, I just put a bitter taste in my mouth, bro. So I'm doing me. And
so Skinhead in there is not considered a gang. It's just considered a lifestyle.
It's a gang, but it's basically was amongst skinheads. It's a lifestyle, Yeah. It's there's a saying it's a haircut, not a life. It's a lifestyle, not a haircut. But right. Yeah. So. By the administration, we're considered a gang, though. Okay. But we're not like a validated prison tip or nothing. We're more of a disruptive group type thing.
I see. So are you guys hustling? Is there that element in there?
You're going to see guys that are doing that. Yeah, they're going to have guys that are doing that. You're going to have guys for me, I didn't do that. I turned into a stone cold drug addict, dude, in the feds. I was doing like, I turned into damn near everything that I used to hate and loathe and like look down on. I became that guy, you know. I became a needle Nazi. Oh. And that caused me some extreme like internal conflict as far as like my morals and stuff, because you know, when you're using drugs, dude, you maintain some of them, but you're definitely not going to be the person that you were initially, because that's what drugs do. They turn you into a different person. Right. No matter how hard you try, you know, it's going to make you into, you know, a different person than you were when you started out.
So you're pushing that needle?
Oh yeah. I'd never used a needle in my life, dude. And like what it is like, I would say over 80% of the dudes around you are engaged in either smoking K2 or doing hardcore drugs or Suboxone in there. So, you know, and using needles. And I don't know, man, my dad passed away, and I stayed clean for the first 4.5 years of my bid. Mm-hmm. And then like I was drinking and stuff still, but you know, I would make shine or drinking wine and stuff. And my pops passed away, dude, and I just was like a number of different things led me to sticking a needle in my arm. And then once I did that, dude, being as like having the addicted personality that I have, and like being like an extreme person, I went full tilt boogie with it, dude. You
talking heroin, like dope, or
anything I could get my hands on, bro? Yeah, heroin, meth, whatever was on the yard, what I could do. Uh-huh. But mainly Suboxone. Well, like that was a big thing in there. Uh-huh. I became and what's crazy is the irony of this is that that's a medication that's used to treat opioid addiction, but people are using it to get high. Yeah. So,
how are you how are you paying for all this?
Tattooing, just whatever, running I was able to. I've always been like coming up in the system, dude. I've always like had to learn how to rely on and get it off the land. Like, so I'm pretty resourceful, dude. I'm able to make money next. Like, I'm not going to starve in a grocery store, bro. And like, there's plenty of hustles in there.
Right. You said running a ticket. What is running a ticket?
Running a ticket is like running a sports book. So you're putting out the, you're putting out the lines from Vegas and, allowing dudes to bet on it. You have to have a bank money to back it up. Right. So you get your stamps up, and then you start off where you can start off. Like I always used to do that in the SMU to take care of myself. But on the yard, you got to have like quite a bit of money to run a yard ticket. So on the yards, I usually just tattoo, and depending on like what kind of whatever I could get, make white lightning, stuff like that.
That's wild. Were you sucked up?
I didn't really get too sucked up, man. Nah. I was still like work out and stuff. So
you're just a functional drug addict.
I guess you could call it that, but to me, dude, I wasn't like really I wasn't running up bills and not paying my bills. And you see dudes that were just like really all the way out there. But to me, like, yeah, it was bad for me, you know? Mm-hmm.
How did you get out of Lewisburg?
So Lewisburg, the first time I went through was an 18-month program. So I just completed the program. I think I had like one setback for smashing a dude out in the cages. And
smashed a dude out in the cage?
Yeah. Hit a dude in the cage was another guy. You know.
How many people are in the cages with you?
So you got, what was it? Is it 6-man cages? I can't remember if it was 6. I think it's like a 6-man cage. So like 3 different cells in there or something like that. That's crazy. I can't remember that right now because I spent so much time there. It was a 6-man cage, I believe.
That's got to be terrifying for whoever's getting beat up because you can't run.
Most of the time that stuff's not spur of the moment. It's orchestrated. Right. So this dude basically laid down in a race riot. And we found out about it. Like dudes name popped up, and he ended up in our cage, and he was a skinhead. So me and this other dude got him, and he was so punch drunk, dude, that when the COs were telling him to get down, he couldn't get down, and they're pepper balling him and the victim. So.
Right. Wow. You say a race riot. Tell us about that. There were race riots in the feds? I thought those were pretty rare.
Those are pretty rare, but I can't remember what year it was, but on 420 at Florence, USP Florence, and I think like 2008 or something like that, there was a huge riot with the whites and the blacks. And this dude was there for that and had basically laid down.
So that caught up all the way those years later.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn. Everybody knows everything in there.
It's small.
There's
It's
no
a
hiding.
small community, man.
Were you ever was there ever a race riot you were a part of in the feds?
I've been in a few standoffs, but no
Okay.
race riots. And I was involved in. Those are more prone in CDC than they are in
Right.
the feds, in my experience.
That's what everybody tells me, because in the feds you're disciplining your own before it gets to that point.
I was not used to that, and that was another thing about the feds that I didn't like. In California, I was like, dude, we're banging with the other races and stuff. In the feds, we're eating our own. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
I didn't become a skinhead to being here beating up, gang banging, and fighting with other white men.
Right.
And that's who we had to look out for. That's who you had to be on your toes for the most, really. If something were to go off with the other races in there, though, it'd be pretty bad for us, because if you have more than like 6 white dudes in a unit, then you're doing something. Like we're really outnumbered, and all these other, like, it's a USP, dude. Everybody has a knife.
Right.
If they're not walking around with it on them,
Right.
they can get access to it very fast.
Right. Did you ever have to stab anybody after that time in the holding cell where you
Yeah.
had to do with an ice pick?
So in was it 2020, right before COVID, man, I got into an argument with this other white gang, right? I don't want to say their names because I'm still friends with these dudes and their homeboys and stuff, and like,
Fair enough.
I got into an argument with these 2 dudes that belong to this other tip, and some really heated words were exchanged, not to where it was like I felt like I needed to take off right there, but to where I definitely felt like I needed to do something to these dudes. And the way that I was going to do that was with a piece of metal,
Mm-hmm.
I was planning on hitting both him and his homeboy. And we just happened to, this argument happened as we're coming out and on the walk from Chow. So all the COs are like pushing us towards our unit, and they're seeing this argument. So I'm like, I can't do this right here. I'm just going to get tackled, and it's going to be over with. It's going to be stupid. So they put us all on the wall, patted us down, and sent us to our units. And then that night, these dudes stabbed this dude. These other white dudes stabbed this dude that was hot out on the yard. It was a rat. Stabbed him out on the yard, removed him, and we went on lockdown for 2 weeks. So during the lockdown, I'm in there I cut out 2 big ass knives out of the side of my locker, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get these dudes. And I had these shoes. Like, there's metal detectors in the units, but at Victorville, like, dude, you could just blow past the metal detectors. Like, most of the time, like, the COs are so damn lazy, dude. They're just like, yeah, keep going, man. But sometimes you'll have a CO that'll be like, it just depends on who's working, right?
Right.
Someone would be like not even paying attention, but I had these shoes on that looked like Chuck Taylors, and they had metal eyelets for the shoelaces, and like I could walk through the metal detector, and they got so used to seeing me wearing these
Right.
that they wouldn't even they're like, all right, Dodson, go ahead. And I was gonna have I planned on putting the knife in my shoe and just walking out to the yard, and my plan was to hit both of these dudes as they came out the chow hall and be off over in the cut, just like with my jacket on and my beanie on real low, like where the homies and the natives are at,
Right.
and just come up behind them and just
Both of them.
Yeah, I was gonna hit them in the kidneys and shit, try to incapacitate them, and then just work both of them as much as I could. But it didn't play out like that. We came out, they let us out off this lockdown like unexpectedly. So I grabbed the banger, right? I'm like, all right. I put it together real fast, not like I usually would. I kind of just like tied a shoestring around a bootlace around the knife, and then I just grabbed a piece of like rubber glove and like wrapped it around the handle. So usually I do it reverse. I'd have the rubber glove around the metal part and then the bootlace on there. But I was trying to just like kind of just like a makeshift thing because I didn't expect anything to be happening, but I did want to have it on me because I'd had words with this dude, and this guy that I'd had words with that lived in the unit with me was known for stabbing dudes from behind. So I'm not trying to be out there and become a victim.
Right. I see.
I'm on point.
Yeah.
He's saying everything's cool, but I don't know if that's for real or not.
Right.
And I'm like watching this dude, and he pulls me down to this dude's cell and was like, hey man, tell this dude I wasn't politicking on you. And I'm so mad about this. I should have kept just rocking him to sleep, but I'm so upset about this issue. And I'm like, I don't want to. I'm like, well, bro, I can't tell you took that shit out to the yard and was basically backdoor politicking on me about some shit. And he was like, oh yeah. And he looked at me and kind of smirked and spun off. And I called the dude's name as he was about like, I don't know, he got about 15 feet ahead of me. I called his name and he just gave me a chopping motion like there's nothing to talk about. Oof. So I was like, oh, this dude's going to his cell to get his banger. So
there's no choice at this point.
So I had mine on me, bro. And I was so mad about this situation, dude, because these dudes had just like really disrespected the hell out of me. And I ended up hitting this dude like 17 times. Missed his heart by an inch, dude.
You ran after him.
Oh, I ran after him. Yeah, he knew I was coming. He kind of like tried to throw a back fist and hit me. And I just grabbed him by the back of his sweater and just started giving it to him just all up and down his side. So like in my mind, I've been practicing in my mind. I'm not trying to kill this dude, right? Because I'm really like 5 years to the door. Yeah. I'm not trying to kill this dude. So I'm like thinking I'm hitting this dude on the side where his heart's not at. Right. But the whole time I'm hitting him on the side where his heart's at, bro. So like I'm just like barely missing this dude's like I'm thinking I'm popping his lung, you know. Right. And I did. I popped his lung in 8 spots, and then it turned around, ended up hitting him like right here in the neck. Heard that go crunch and just stuck, and I had to pull it out. And I just was just on this dude. They came, the COs did, were like, stop fighting. And spray, I'm still going.
He's on the ground now?
He's on the ground. Like they're spraying me in the back of the head. They're hitting this fool in the face. And then finally, the CO, they sprayed us like 3 times, finally grabbed me, peeled me up off of him. At this point, I'm like pretty much done doing what I'm doing. I'm kind of like just let him pull me off. And pulled me off, slammed me up against the wall. I still got the banger right here in my hand. And I'm like, I told that dude, I'm like, is that what you and your homeboy were looking for? Is that what you wanted? And I threw the knife across the day room, just like bling, 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 slid across the floor. And homeboy is over there setting up and was like, I didn't politic against you, Bumper. Come on, bro. And like spitting out blood and shit. He's just covered, dude. Wow. And I got to give this dude his props, though, for real. He didn't scream. He didn't try to run. Dude took that shit like a gangster. I can't ever take that away from that man. Like he got up, walked out of the unit, and then once they cuffed me after him, got me out in the corridor, the back corridor, and I've seen him running with the gurney, and then before he got to the gurney, he collapsed. But he held it together, dude. So I can't ever take that away from that dude. Like, but we just had differences. And
do you think he would have stabbed you?
Absolutely.
Right.
My life was definitely in danger, dude.
Damn. So close to killing him.
I didn't even
Heart's on the left side, Bumper.
I know, bro. You know, it's like, yeah. it's not like one of those things, you know, you're sitting there thinking all that stuff out, like this is how this is going to go down. But it never, and dude, there's been cases, I see dudes get stabbed like 30, 40 times, 50 times, don't die. Then you see dudes that aren't really trying to kill somebody, hit a dude in the leg in the femoral artery and they bleed out. That's it.
Wow. Is that right?
Oh yeah. That's a fact. That happened in Canaan. Dude got hit, got told to go put in some work with a knife, got hit the dude in the leg because he's not trying to hurt the dude. He's just trying to put in some knife work, right? And hit dude in the femoral artery. Dude bled out in like 30 seconds or something.
Oh my God.
Caught a bunch more time. So I don't know, for whatever reasons, bro, why I never ended up getting, like, they kept me back in the shoe all during COVID on this one. Didn't go to, I didn't leave my cell it was like almost a 4-month period. They got showers in the cell, but they weren't running wreck, doing nothing. I had to take the team twice while I was back there.
Take the what?
The cell extraction team.
Right.
I made them extract me twice. Well, one, they were trying to move us cells, but they wouldn't give us the phone so we could call our people because their phone had germs. But you want us to move behind 2 grown-ass men that had been living in a cell for 21 days. Like, nah, dude. So it was 8 cells altogether. The blacks and the white dudes, white boys took the team that time. So we had them. That was like on July 5th of 2020. And then they moved me after that. They moved me down to this range, dude. It was nothing but PCs, dude. And I had dudes stealing off my line. And I was just telling these COs, like, hey, dog, y'all are going to need to move me because you're not going to have me down here on this up range with all these check-ins and chomos and shit. And they were like, yeah, we got you. Guys, they kept trying to placate me and saying this and that. And then I watched them, dude. I watched them start doing these courtesy moves for these other races and shit. But they weren't moving us. But, like, this was during 2020, bro. Yeah. Black Lives, like, riots and shit. They were, I swear, dude, they were doing, I seen so much crazy shit in that shoe in Victorville. I seen a black dude throw a freaking tray through the slot at the CO's head and then get what he wanted to use the phone. Get what he wanted, dude. And I never seen them doing shit like that. It was like they were told from administration they're trying to, like, placate these dudes so they didn't have so much unrest. But, like, you had a lot of teams being run all the time, like more than I'd ever even seen. Like, it was a very crazy time to be in the shoe.
So because of what was happening in the streets with Black Lives Matter, in prison, black guys were getting away with more shit.
I seen that. I seen that for sure.
Well, we used to joke about that all the time with my black friends in LA. I'm like when that was going on, I told my black friend Malik, he's like a super popular comedian now. I was like, bro, if you want to just like run up in my building, you could do it. Like, if you want to, you could probably, now's your time. Go just break in somewhere, dude. No one's going to tell you shit. Like, we used to laugh about that. So they definitely they definitely were taking advantage of it, as humans do when they see a chance to have privilege. It's not just a black thing, but this was favoring, black guys. So that's fascinating that prison was mirroring what was going on in society at that time.
It was a microcosm of,
Yeah. Wow. And you're in Victorville.
I'm in Victorville on this shoe at this time. And
now you're when you stabbed the dude, which was in the chow hall.
I wasn't in chow. I was in the unit. I got him in the unit. I was planning on doing them out on the yard after they come out the chow hall, but I got him in the unit.
Okay. They didn't refer your case to the U.S. attorney?
Yeah. So that was they referred my case. I've sat back there for 18 months pending FBI referral, all during COVID. I was back there longer than, there was only one other dude that was back there as long as me. And that was a homie. And he was back there like he was back there about 6 months longer than I was. But other than that, it was just, everybody that had been back there had already got shipped, went to so they weren't putting me in for the SMU. They had opened up the new SMU at Thompson, Illinois. They weren't putting me in for that because I hadn't been to seen DHO, like disciplinary hearing officer, to be found guilty for whether I did this or not. So they couldn't put me in for the SMOO program. They ended up putting me in for the SMOO without my shot even being heard by the DHO, and that allowed me the chance to beat the SMOO hearing. So I didn't get sent to the SMOO for the third time. And so but the second time I took the team, dude, this is a crazy twist right here. The second time I took the team back there, I got 2 of the cops out of their helmets and their gas masks and busted out on the range on them. And they hit me with like, I don't know how much pepper spray and concussion grenades. Like, I think we took four bombs before they actually came in to physically remove us from the cell and put us in restraints. So, but when they came in, we started, I'm fighting with them this time. The first time I didn't really fight with them. The second time I was super pissed off for having them down there with the PC. So I was like, man, f these dudes. And they're coming in there swinging on you anyways, bro. Right. So you might as well get paid.
Yo, poetry right there, Bumper. So they come in riot gear,
yes,
swinging on you, and you bomb back, and you took these dudes out of their helmets?
Yes. Took him out of the hell. I became one of the team training videos in USP Victorville.
Yeah.
For what not to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
That was probably one of the coolest things I did while I was in there. Like, everybody was like, "God, dude, you're a legend, bro." Like, that's hard to do, bro, to get out on the range.
That's what that means? Getting out on the range?
Getting out on the range is like, that's the objective when you take the cell extraction team. You're trying to win. That's a win. When you got all those men that are trained, like they go through training to keep you contained in that cell, and you get them out of their riot gear. Right. I was basically, what I did was I grabbed the back of the dude's helmet, the first dude, and I pulled his helmet. I pulled his, he took off on, hit me in the jaw, and I started punching this dude. And then I grabbed the back of his helmet and yanked it up like this, so that strap's choking him out. And he pops up out of it. I grab the gas mask, snatch it off, and they got to have this weird protocol for when they have to, because he just immediately bent over at the waist and backed out, crawdadded out of the backed out of the cell. And then the other CO that was right next to him, basically same thing happened. He went to swing on me. I kicked him in the chest. He went up over the desk in the cell, and I grabbed the back of his helmet and repeated the thing. And then he did the same thing. And then the next thing you know, I'm looking, and you can't see shit, dude. The whole cell is filled up with white smoke. The whole range is got a pail of smoke floating on it like this throughout the range. And I see the light from the door frame though, dude. And I just shot for it I was like, I'm getting out of here. And and
you ran out of the cell. You got out of the cell.
I got out of the cell. I got to the door frame and they grabbed me, but I grabbed a hold of the side of the door frame and I pulled myself out, and I was just like, I'm on the range, bitches. Yeah. And they finally tackled me. But yeah, after that, they ended up making me the shoe orderly.
They placate. You got what you wanted.
Well, it's not really that they do that, but honestly, at Victorville, one thing I can say is most of the time, orderlies at any other USPs are PCs. They're check-ins or whatever. But Victorville, they respect gangsters for whatever reason out there. Yeah. So they were and I'd been back there for so long. I hit up one of the lieutenants, these dudes that got fired, and I was like, hey, look, man. And it had been a while since I'd done that shit. And I was like, hey, look, man, I've been back here a long time, dude. Why don't you let me get out there and push a broom around and shit? Yeah. And he was like, you'll work? And I'm like, yeah, I'll work. And then I was surprised they let me and this other, actually, the dude I ended up working with belonged to the same tip as the dude I'd booked. So they put it would already got squashed, the beef had and between our two groups, and they put us together as filling that situation out. And
so were you actually working alongside the dude you stabbed?
Not the dude I stabbed, but one of his homeboys.
Okay.
So that's how they do things in there,
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you beat another case. Multiple cases. I mean, you
a bunch of guards, and it's almost like they like wave the white flag, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna back off, dude.
Well, the thing is with in the feds, they call it like free rec for a reason, and they don't pick up a lot of charges unless you basically unalive someone, especially when it's a criminals in there victimizing the other criminals, so they don't really they're not going to go spend all that money just to prosecute you, and it's just like, that's why they called it free rec, bro. You can see dudes just getting beaten within an inch of their lives, dude. Eyeballs knocked out, freaking just all kinds of crazy shit like that. And like dudes not getting charged.
Right.
Unless if you assault a staff member with a weapon or something like that, you're going to get charged.
Right.
Or you do something like that. But yeah, like most times they're just going to stretch you out in the shoe, let you sweat it, and that's your punishment.
Right. Yeah, because there's so much violence going on, it ironically perpetuates more violence, because they're like, oh, we can't just deal with this. Wait, you just got stabbed once? He's walking?
Yeah, so as long as you're not attacking their staff or anything like that, and it's just amongst each other, usually they're gonna let that walk, unless they got some kind of personal issue with you, and then they might prosecute it. Right. The institution would have to be like, hey man, we want you to prosecute this dude. And so you see that a lot. That's a common thing.
Yeah. That's so this is Victorville. And how many prisons had you been to up to this point? How many facilities?
So 4 facilities altogether. So I'd been to USP McCreary, then I went to Lewisburg SMU. When I got out of the SMU that time, I went down to USP Coleman 1.
How was that? That's in Florida?
Yeah. During the time I was down there, we had this dude named the acting warden named Miller, and he was like real bad about locking down, and so we stayed locked down a lot. There was a lot of fog lockdowns. But it was all right. Florida was okay. It wasn't, I wouldn't say, I seen a few like riots down there, but it was just really crazy, like cartel dudes fighting with each other, like different sections of cartel paisas, like banging with each other out on the rec yard, like from different areas of Mexico and shit.
Wow.
So I seen a big riot like that. And then I seen this other Mexican gang from out here in Texas.
What are they called?
PRMs. I've seen the PRMs like basically cannibalize each other, like internal, like power struggle, like power move, where they're like,
no shit.
And I just didn't understand. I was like, damn, what in the f is going on out here? Well, these fools are like running around, chasing each other, stabbing each other and shit.
That's crazy. What was the most hard rock prison out of all those 4? What do you think was the most violent? You certainly contributed to some of it.
In my experience, Victorville was the most violent for me. Lewisburg was right there hand in hand with it as far as like the level of violence and the amount of violence that goes on. But the thing about those penitentiaries, man, is that it really, any of them can be, it fluctuates. It's not always like everyone's like going to be, they rock and roll, you know what I mean? Sometimes it just depends on who's there at the moment.
Racially, do you think the white guys are the most violent in the USPs?
They're some of the most violent, yes. They put in some of the most vicious work, but you're also going to see the natives put in some hardcore work too. The native car goes, they keep a clean house, and they put in when they put in work, they go hard as.
Hey, do they use tomahawks?
Oh yeah. No, yeah, they use. I mean, usually they're just really beating the shit out of each other, but when they do, it's pretty brutal.
We talked to a guy that was in Victorville, black guy, but he was telling us about the whites there. They had to take a dude off the yard, and what they would do is the managers, right? The shot callers would come to other heads, the different races, heads of the car, and be like, just so you know, you should probably go get your showers in by Thursday morning and, go to canteen or whatever, because this dude's got to go, like as a courtesy.
Yeah, that's common practice.
That's common practice. Like somebody's getting stabbed. We just try to be friendly about it and let you know, because we're all going to be locked down for a couple of weeks.
That's common practice.
And then he goes, and then, sorry, just one sec. He goes, this is what's so crazy about it. This guy was telling me the story. Unique, his name is Black Guy. He'd be like, well, who are you stabbing up? And they go, oh, you see that guy that we're being chummy with? They're like playing spades or something. That guy, like, doesn't even know. It's like mafia shit. It's like you're rocking him to sleep.
Yeah. So the last guy that usually knows that is the dude that's getting hit. If you don't know, if you're hearing like somebody's getting hit and then you don't know who it is yourself, you might want to be concerned, because if you don't know who's getting hit, it's either one or two things. It's like either you are good friends with the dude and they don't want to tell you because they're afraid you might tip his hand.
Right.
Or, it's you.
Did that ever happen to you? Did you ever hear about one of your, like a buddy that was going to have to go?
No, I never had that really happen to me, like have somebody real close and personal to me have to go like that. But I have seen that happen multiple times. And most of the time, you're not wanting to tell like his really good, like his really close homeboys, like what's going on. Sometimes you got to keep it secret, as far as like just keep it real under wraps and not even let the other races know, just in case they might go and say something. Sometimes they'll get upset, but damn, dog, I guess you can give us a head up or what?
Right.
But sometimes you can't.
Did you ever feel bad when you knew somebody was about to get stabbed up?
There's sometimes when I feel like politics, especially when it comes to like stuff that's not like gang politics, like dudes might have done something, like they don't agree with their dudes or something, and then they get removed. And it's not really like they did something wrong per se. Like they're not a rat. They're not a sex offender. They just made like a bad decision, and their dude like violated some kind of bylaw of what that goes with their car. Sometimes I would feel bad for them dudes, because I'm like, damn, man, dude's not a bad dude, and he just got taken out pretty like he was a sex offender or something.
Right. He made a mistake.
He made a mistake.
Yeah.
So sometimes I would feel bad about stuff like that.
So at what point did you start to become disillusioned with this white supremacist ideology that you grew up with? I mean, you're in prison, so you're getting to know people of other races. I'm sure that had something to do with it.
That had something to do with it. And like I said, just basically like people just like, reaching out to people and then not hearing back from them and stuff like that. And just seeing that, it was really just meeting people and getting to know them and become actual like friends with them. Mm-hmm. And then realizing that honestly, I might have grew up like that in Arkansas, but I did grow up having Mexican homeboys, and I was really close with the homies and the feds and stuff too, and just becoming friends with dudes and seeing them as people, and like realizing that, I'm not going to get anywhere doing what I had done before. So if I wanted to stay out of prison and not go back, I got to make some serious changes to my life. And a lot of that happened for me. Those parts of it happened for me during COVID, when I started making some changes like that. But I even before my mid-bid, I'd already started, I'd open up a ticket at Lewisburg with this skinhead dude named Squirrel. And he was telling me, hey, Bumper, dude, you're going to have to learn how to interact with these dudes, because they're giving us their money, bro. This is how we're going to be feeding ourselves. Right. So these dudes are going to be shooting at the ticket. So you're going to have to talk to them, and you're going to have to interact with them and stuff. And up to that point, I really didn't do that. And that's really when it started happening, when I started doing business and stuff. and getting to know people instead of just like automatically just
writing them off.
Yeah, just writing them off, or just, you know, that's when it actually started transpiring. I believe if I was to pinpoint it, I would say that was the start of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are just people, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everybody makes the same mistakes. Everybody has flaws. Everybody has good things about them. I just think you didn't have a lot of exposure to that growing up. I think childhood has a lot to do with it. I think you're indoctrinated, and we're all kind of indoctrinated by our parents too, you know, in the way that we grew up.
Yeah,
part of evolution is overcoming that.
Right. I don't feel like my parents, they really didn't like preach that too hardcore like that, but you know, growing up in an area where it's just, that's all there is. There's no other races and stuff. It's just all whites. That was just basically, you know, when we moved to California, I didn't even know what a Mexican was. I had to ask my mom, what is that? What are those people? You know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that might have had something to do with it. But yeah, the change really started transpiring whenever I started having interactions with them, and treating them as with respect and getting respect in return, and seeing how they conducted themselves. And then also just looking around and seeing that every single different car, there's good dudes, and then there's trash dudes.
Yeah. Right. Was there a friend in there in particular, like a black guy or a Mexican guy that you, by the end, you considered like a friend?
Yeah, there was this dude, me and my buddy was in the SMU with him, and he was our neighbor, and his big old black dude from Boston named Boston O. And cool as hell, dude. This dude was like, hey, yo, Bumpa. You know, he talks like a Boston dude. Hey, like a white, you wouldn't know he was black, right? Well, he's talking on the vent
Bumpa.
to it. Hey, yo, Bumpa. I'm like, what's up, Boston O? He's like, man, so let me ask you a question real quick. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, yo, what do you think about extraterrestrials, bro? So, yeah. So, like, I just started, you know, chopping it up with him. And that was like, yeah, that's my buddy and shit. Boston knows.
Is there anybody that's funnier than a black guy in prison?
I've heard some. Nah, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so.
I haven't found it.
When you hear the byplays going on the range and they're bagging on each other, nah, dude, there's nothing funnier than that. Like just like the little byplays going on between them on the, like when they're talking shit to each other through the doors and stuff.
Nothing funnier.
I heard one of the funniest things I heard was this one dude told this fool, like, man, shut the hell up, dude. You look like you survived an abortion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude was just that ugly.
It's so creative, and they're so vicious to each other. Just busting balls.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna remind you that your mama was a crackhead. Your breath stinks.
All that. Like things that some people wouldn't even be able to take, like, cause like, you know, they're say to each other, you know. Right. Like they just got it. It's really always was odd to me because sometimes I couldn't figure out when they were playing and when they were being serious, because sometimes you would see them joking and saying things that you would feel that they were supposed to fight over and they wouldn't, and then other times there would be something less than that, and then people with the knives are coming. It's just, I don't know, man. Right. I still don't understand that to this day.
Yeah. I think they generally take themselves less seriously, and that's probably why they allow a lot of dudes with bad paperwork. At least on the state level, they allow a lot of dudes with, you know, bad dudes into their cars.
There's the same thing going on in the feds, not maybe with the gang cars, but with some of like the other cars, they'll have trash in there, like sex offenders and stuff, rapists.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any more close calls after, you know, you became an orderly at Victorville and you were short timing? Did you keep your head down, or were you pretty much staying on 10 till the day you got out?
Well, what I did was I told myself I wasn't going to be carrying around a knife anymore on my person, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because if something was to happen, I'd be more prone to use it. Did I have one? Absolutely. But I just never, I had access to it, just never would. I used to always walk around strapped, but I stopped doing that. I was still, it took me all the way up until I was about 6 months to the door before I was able to like get put. They put me on the Hep C treatment, Maverick.
You have Hep C?
I had Hep C
From
shooting dope in prison.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was, you got to understand that was a big deal for me because working as a tattoo artist professionally before, and that being like something that's like my trade to fall back on. That was a big deal for me to have contracted that, and so it's hard to get on this treatment, dude, because it costs a lot of money. But they got me on the Maverick treatment. And it's like a 12-week treatment. You take pills, and it knocks it out. So if I was tested today, it's not communicable. I couldn't give it to anybody, and I don't have it. It cured it. That happened, so that's when I flushed it, and then they put me on the MAP program, which is you're doing the Suboxone, so you're getting it at pill window, and that pretty much, that alone right there, I was super. I got to the point like when I was coming home, I was like nervous, man, like scared of failure. Like I'm like, dude, I cannot come out. And I didn't want nobody to see me like that because I didn't want people to see, they didn't know me like that, like as a drug addict, like a IV drug user, and to have changed that much, to have prison change you that much and like go through the things that I did throughout my addiction, it was just a real drastic change. I just was like embarrassed of it. And I didn't want to come out onto the streets with that type of habit because I knew, dude, I'd just be coming straight back.
Right.
So I had to get that under wraps. And thankfully I got put on the MAP program. They got me on the Suboxone, and I've been able to maintain, dude. I don't have I've held a job down the entire time. I haven't had no urges to do drugs. And it's just been a lifesaver for me, dude. And it is for lots of other people. I've seen other guys that are like diehard opioid addicts be able to get out and function.
Wow. Because of Suboxone.
Because of Suboxone, yeah.
Wow. Which is what people also abuse in there.
It's, yeah.
So were you doing dope? Were you doing heroin or?
I did, yeah. Whenever it was around, you got to understand, like, once the Suboxone and stuff like in K2s and the synthetics started taking over in the systems, you don't see a lot of people taking that kind of risk with the heroin and fentanyl and meth and shit anymore. Like when you see that stuff pop up, it's not as predominant as it used to be back in the like early 2000s and the 90s and the 80s, like when that was what there was to use. These synthetics have changed it to where dudes aren't trying to take that risk. They know guys are going to be they're going to buy it anyways. Yeah. So the synthetics have really taken over the system.
So how did you get off Suboxone using Suboxone?
Well, here's the thing. So I'm getting it for free through the window now. So now it's not a black market thing for me no more. It's not something I'm having to do. I'm legally going up here to this window and getting that prescription.
Right.
And I'm able to now it's not causing me no more problems.
So you just weaned yourself off of it with like the proper doses.
I went from shooting it one day to going to the pill window and getting it for having to buy it from Pancho. And, as a little bitty piece like this to going to the pill window and getting it legit.
Right. Okay. So you're taking it orally. You're not shooting
I'm taking it orally. Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
So they put you on it, depending on what institution. They'll have you on the strips for building your tolerance up, and then they put you on the shot. So they don't want you getting the strips through the window because you get the strips, and then dudes they're like, they're getting back out to the yard, and dudes are selling them instead of taking them. So they give you this shot. It's a Sublocade shot. So while I was there, I was on, after about 2 weeks of taking the strips, they gave me that shot. It stays in your system for a month, and then they give you the shot again the next month, and it gradually disperses throughout your system and keeps you from having urges of using it. So it basically just changed my whole program.
Wow. So by the time you got out, you were clean?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got good time. You got your good time. This is crazy. I mean, I'm happy you got it. I'm just, shocked because you were not always on good behavior.
No. So here's the deal on the feds. Every year you can only lose like up to 52 days of your good time. So seeing as how like I would go into the SHU or like the SMOO program and go extended periods without getting incident reports, like over a year, that would be 52 days right there automatically that I've earned.
Right.
Without them being able to take it. So it's they call it vested good time. So they're not allowed to go. Once you've earned that, they can't go and take that. Okay. So that was what actually kept me from losing, flattening it out and taking all my good time.
Damn, man. I mean, you dodged a lot of bullets in your journey. Do you look back and say, man, I'm grateful. I'm one of the lucky ones.
I definitely am because, bro, like, especially with the incident with the sheriff deputy getting stuck in the neck, dude, like that right there, I felt, I just felt like it was over with on that one.
Yeah.
For me to be able to scrape by on that, and then just all the other ones that they've put me in for FBI referral on, I'm just fortunate, dude, to even be sitting here talking to you, doing this interview and living the life that I am today.
I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate that we have you here. That was, yeah, I got to take a breath, you know. Not all the interviews do it to me, but yeah, this was a wild one. This was fun. What are you doing now? You're living in Oklahoma. You're working.
Yeah, I'm living in Oklahoma.
What's up, man?
I'm living in Oklahoma, dude. I'm working.
Are you off paper?
I'm not off paper. I'm on paper still. I got a little less than 2 years.
Are you allowed to be here?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got permission. So
good man.
Yeah, I'm following all the rules, bro. I'm not trying to go back
again.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, to think like living like that, being so immersed in the convict culture, and then like finally, you know, getting ready to come home and realizing that, dude, I can't come out here and fail, dude. I don't want to go back to living like this. And that's what it was, like the perspective of being about to go home, like 5 years to the house, and then possibly picking up a case where, you know, you barely missed stabbing a dude in the heart by an inch. Your life is like, that really put things in perspective for me. And I was like, I had to start dealing with my anger. I always used to look at shit like negatively and be bitter about stuff. And I blamed everybody else for my shit. And then I had to start when I stopped doing that and started trying to see the positive side of things and taking accountability for my own actions and realizing that I'm the one that put myself in a lot of these situations and that I'm in control of how I react to things, and trying to deal with like the anger issues that I have and not act out on impulse. Those are things that I had to do it little by little, bro. It was like a lot to tackle at once, but I really started that work about 2 years to the door, and it was just little things. And I always was like, hey, my name's good in there. Like I got a great name. I got a lot of dudes that love and respect me. But I was like, man, I'm here until I'm gone. So I'm gonna, I left in good standing. I made it out of there, but I did tell myself like, hey man, once I come home, I'm leaving that prison mentality at the door, and I'm gonna try to do things different than I ever have done before upon getting released,
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. And for me, like what I've been doing is kind of like I started, for whatever reason, dude, documenting my journey on TikTok and like posting content about staying out of prison and being positive and doing this and that, and trying to inspire dudes that are maybe like getting out of prison and done lengthy sentences, and showing them that what's possible when we actually put our minds to it and try. It's not really that hard, dude. Once you change your mentality, it's all about your thought process,
Yeah.
And once I did that, man, I've met so many good dudes. Like it was cool seeing Aaron on there. Like I was like, oh dude, that's Aaron from Victorville,
Yeah.
And then like so many other dudes that I've known have gotten a hold of me. Like dudes that I've done juvenile time with, and like it's been a type of therapy in itself, like being able to interact and network with dudes, because I wasn't able to relate to a lot of people when I came home, like having the background that I have, like in and out of jails and institutions since I was 11, and like not really having a lot of experience, like real world experience with things. So it was a big transition. And then just your average person, like going to work and like listening to these dudes talk in the break room and stuff. What do I have to interject into this? I'm buying a house, and we got this mortgage, and I'm like, I don't have nothing to say. Like I can't relate to these dudes, so I'm kind of feeling out of place.
You ever felt the crunch of a knife in a man's neck? No?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, how do I relate to these guys? And if you tell them stuff like that, they're going to look at you like you're a psychopath. And I mean, obviously, maybe having to live in that type of situation, dude, it's kind of like when in Rome, do as the Romans. And that's what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I was that's how it was in there. So that's how we lived. So,
yeah. Wow. Well, where can people find your TikTok?
TikTok, my TikTok's on a bumper. It's got the red X for Generation X at Gary Dodson 7 on TikTok.
Awesome. We'll put the link in the description. Go follow it. Right on. Yeah. Keep up with that, man. Maybe start a YouTube.
I did start a YouTube. It's Yard Down Productions podcast, but I'm, that's why I really was looking forward to coming over here and kind of like soaking up some game from you and like seeing how you do your thing. And I don't want to do the remote deal like I think the in-person ones are a lot better, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, man. I just think you talking is compelling. So definitely anything I can do, use me.
Right on, Johnny. Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
You want to stick around and for the bonus episode, we'll just talk a little bit more?
Yeah,
tell a few more war stories.
Whatever, yeah. I'll throw a few more.
Gary Bumper Dodson, thank you so much, my brother. From one California brother to another.
Right on, bro.
Yeah, man. I had a great time. All right, guys. We'll see you over at Patreon. Patreon.com/TheConnect Show with the one and only Bumper. That was great.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, Johnny.
You got it. Thanks for coming.